Wayne, congratulations for being inducted into the California Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Coach, thank you very much. But you know something, it's either Coach or Corky. You're
Okay.
way too formal.
All right, okay.
No,
It's going to be Corky.
Thank you.
So here, I have a few questions to ask you about your wrestling background.
Okay.
The first, I'd like to start off with, what individual had the greatest impact on your wrestling career?
You know, I've had to scan my memory banks for a lot of these things, and this evening, when we are receiving our awards, I have to mention some people. But I've wrestled for 6 people that are all either being inducted this evening or have already been inducted in the Hall of Fame. So how are you going to ask me a question like that? But with respect, Vernon Brooks.
Yeah.
He kept me on a team long enough so I could learn how to wrestle, because he should have cut me. I hate to admit this, but I only won 1 match my freshman year in high school. I wrestled for Max Birch, who's up in Reading area. Wrestled for Al Kitty, who taught me how to be a wrestler, prepared me for college wrestling. Bill Music, who's also a Madera kid. He takes care of kids. Bill Music he's not a one of a kinder, because I tried to be like my coaches. The influence, and Dick Francis, who's an extremely Christian gentleman, we saw eye to eye very well. To narrow those things down, those guys had a tremendous amount of influence on me. And so I don't want to pick one over the other.
Did a good job. Who was your wrestling hero growing up?
My brother. He's a half or a stepbrother of mine. He wrestled for Vernon Brooks at Madera High School, and he also wrestled for Hans Wiedenhofer at Fresno City College. But, my brother was bigger than myself. I was a 165 pounder, he was a 175 and 191 pounder, and he was let's just say my brother, I wanted to be just like him. He's 6 years older than me, and so it was just enough of that time separation where you had a lot of respect for him, or I did, I should say.
Corky, what personal attribute or ability do you contribute your wrestling success to, or abilities? Maybe more.
Now that's real simple. 2 things. Number 1, I was a leg wrestler. In fact, I was probably too much of a leg wrestler, because when you have something that works well for you, you tend to kind of stay within that comfort zone, and you don't do other things that you should probably be doing and you've been taught. The other thing is I've always been in great shape. I could get myself in tremendous condition, and it was the running, the lifting weights, and I had great teammates, so I had no problem getting in shape. But between conditioning, which that got me off of the bottom, like nobody could hold me, and then leg wrestling, where no one ever got away from me, and I could rest when I'm on top.
What outstanding memory do you have of your wrestling career?
Okay, I wrote down a few notes, of course. Yeah. I'm not an original person. I follow the lead of those people that I feel like are good teachers for me. I did wrestle in national championships in College Park, Maryland in 1972. That had to be a real highlight of my wrestling career. Since then, in 1972, I became a freshman junior varsity coach at Madera High School under Al Kitty. 2 years later, 1975, we were second in the state championships behind Clovis High School. They're a pretty good bunch of wrestlers over there too. As a coach, 1975 was a good year for us. 1983 was another year we placed second in state championships. We've won the Valley Championships twice, and in our area, there is no assurance of how successful you're going to be from one year to another in our CIF Central Section. So, no, I've had a lot of great experiences in wrestling, and guess we'll stop there, won't we?
Throughout your wrestling career, what is the single most memory event?
Okay. I coached in San Diego at a small Catholic high school, University High School, for 4 years during the 70s. Came back to Madera High School for the 80-81 school year. And when you leave San Diego to go any place, it's obviously, there must have been a good reason. And family, my wife's family and my own are from Madera. And so we moved back. I got the head wrestling position at Madera High School that year. And, you know, we moved back primarily because my mom was passing away of cancer. And a long story short, excuse me, the night that we wrestled Clovis High School, we beat Clovis High School, and they became state champions that year. But in a dual meet, we beat those guys 39-32. Came down to the last match, naturally, and we ended up pinning their heavyweight. Earlier in the day, most of my wrestlers were with me at my mom's funeral. And that was very memorable, and still, you know, it still gets to me.
What made you get involved in the sport of wrestling? It sounds like you may have answered this a little earlier.
Yeah, I did. My brother, like I said before, I wanted to be like him. And, you know, something, he was such a good friend, all up until, you know, we lost him 6 years ago. Yeah, it hasn't been good. Honestly, I'm the only person in my family that has ever retired. You know, it's been kind of a tough road sometimes. But
if you had the opportunity to start your career again, would you do anything different?
you know, I read that question, and you know, I couldn't do anything differently. Yes, I among anything else, and I'm sad that I was never able to bring a state championship back to Madera High School, my school. But other than that, my kids were wonderful. They're loyal. I still see them all the time. And Madera's a small town.
Yeah.
But even my teammates in high school, 2 of them were with me this morning. And those are the ones that actually made me a better wrestler. No, I've thought about that a lot as far as life in general. And my knees hurt, and you know, there's the normal aches and pains of age. I wouldn't trade anything for what I've done or had the opportunity to do. And those kids, they're just so important.
Well, in closing, I have one more question.
Okay.
What would you like people to remember about you?
That one should be an easy answer. Should be. In life, you know, you're either going to kind of make it or you're not, and it's dependent on a lot of things, and part of it is how hard a worker that you are or that you want to be. You know, my kids, meaning my wrestlers, you know, they speak for me through their actions, and so it's real simple. You know that, you know, I've had kids that have taken care of me. But on my gravestone, I hope that people believe that I treated you fairly and with respect. If I've done that, I haven't made a friend, but hopefully I have not made an enemy, or not too many enemies anyway. I feel that's extremely important, and you know, my family wouldn't have it any other way, and neither would Jesus Christ.
Great. Corky, thank you so much. Congratulations again for being inducted into the California Wrestling Hall of Fame.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure. No, it's my pleasure to speak with you tonight.
Oh.
I've known you for years, from afar.
You're being very generous.
And you've done a lot of good things for wrestling, and I appreciate people like yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.